Hello, Baku. I'm thrilled to be here today. Leading off of Michael, I'd like to ask all of you a few questions first. So again, who here is an entrepreneur? Who here wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to start a company? You can keep your hands up if you already are. Okay, so more of you in the audience. Who's currently a student? You should all be students in one way or another. Trick question. Who's studying business? Who knows how to code? Okay, fantastic. Let's get started. On to myself. I have worked in education tech, and also investing over the course of my career. And I helped General Assembly, which I'll get into more, expand its operations in Asia. So not only in Hong Kong, but also kind of the setup to launch a new campus in Singapore. And I left last month for my own company, which I started last year, Lightstage. These are ways that you can connect with me. Twitter, of course, at Kalina King. On Instagram, because I love pictures. And then Facebook, LinkedIn. And let's get started with General Assembly. So General Assembly is an education company founded 4 years ago in New York City, and it's since expanded to 14 campuses worldwide. And GA is global, it's venture-backed, it's for-profit, and it's all about delivering practical education to entrepreneurs, career changers, and really anyone who needs digital skills to be relevant in this modern-day economy, which is effectively everyone. And it's kind of distinguishing between digitally native people. Most of us here in the room are digitally native, but then tacking on the ability to do things and create things. And so with one of the main things about General Assembly and other enterprises, boot camps, similar programs, is that all the education is taught by practitioners, and it's very much hands-on, not theoretical. And kind of why are we talking about GA in any context if General Assembly is not here in Azerbaijan today? I believe that understanding the values and mission behind an practical education enterprise like GA will allow you all to find and create similar ways to start learning, start making here in Baku. So running through them, because I love the values. People before the machine. This is about individualized education, that one path is not right for every person, and really that you should choose your own, and also about community. GA was started as a co-working space and then moved into education. You here on campus have a fantastic community to learn from each other and support each other in learning. Very much about learning by doing, being hands-on about it. In Hong Kong, when GA first started, there was this kind of shock. Oh, why should I learn how to develop? I'll just outsource and pay someone else to do it. I'll hire an engineer. I want to be the boss, not the developer, not the technical skill. I firmly believe that that is the wrong mindset. You get to being the boss by understanding how things work and then how to hire people effectively to create those things, how to improve those things. And this kind of iteration of learning and doing it yourself is really key. And finally, journey over destination. Most startups fail, and so as people, as students, you want to embrace the fact that you will fail, you will have to start over, that you can't stick to one web language because already hundreds, thousands of them have come and gone. The world right now is quickly changing, that's a fact. And so it's about relentlessly adapting to that and learning how to learn. So on being an entrepreneur, You know, an entrepreneur's education is practical. It is not theoretical because you have to make it up and fake it till you make it on the outside. I think on the inside, it's really key to be humble about what you don't know and take active measures to address that and continue to learn more, address the unknowns. With this, I'd like to share a bit about the scope and context of education today. Why are we here? Why do we need to hack education? The problem today with traditional education has been that in this world there's huge demand for certain digital skills, and in most cases, traditional education, going to college, that isn't enough. There isn't a degree in how to acquire 1 million users in 6 months. There isn't a computer science degree in the world that makes a fresh graduate immediately able to build the next Instagram. Instagram isn't actually that hard to code, but college degrees, by and large, are teaching the theoretical and are taught by professors who, while they may have ties with industry, have not necessarily been in industry. And what I'm not here to talk about is to tell anyone to drop out of school, to not go for that PhD of your passion. I think that there is absolutely a place still for education in all kinds, and this focus is more on alternatives that have cropped up and some ideas for all of you out there to supplement your education today. So for the next kind of part of this, I'm going to be speaking about GA, which is one of these education hacks in the system today. And I would kind of characterize it as there's all of the World Wide Web of information and kind of ad hoc education that you can pick up. You can look up things on Wikipedia. You can start a MOOC course online. 90% of them aren't finished. General Assembly and other programs that are similar are more structured. It might be a 1-hour class, a 3-hour class, an 8 or 12-week course, but it's a shortcut. And then you might have going into an incubator and accelerator program where they take a part of your company, most likely, or whatever you produce during that time. But 24/7, there's mentors there, they're educating you, they want you to succeed, and they're going to give you all those practical skills in their power to help you and your startup succeed. And then there's the colleges, the graduate programs, the community schools, and all the educational systems that we've been familiar with growing up. So to this kind of middle ground between all the information available on the web and traditional education stands these education hacks. And again here, commands, start making, stop talking, as Alex said. And it really is as simple as getting started. So the number one thing here, I believe, is to be values-driven about it. There is too much information available and too many potential skills and curiosities in the world to master them all. For your startup, for building your product, you need to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then let that guide your education. You don't have the luxury of being able to spend 10 hours diving into some topic that doesn't have an immediate, direct, practical application to what you're trying to build or what you're trying to achieve. I think Simon Sinek's TED Talk on the importance of why driving everything you do is a fantastic, inspirational video to watch. And then, again, 2 prods to just simply get started. Just take that first step and learn that first line of HTML. Take that first step and start exploring available online resources on how to acquire customers. For this, I've taken 2 leads from kind of the writing sector and creativity, because writer's block is something that I think applies very directly to entrepreneurs getting started, not wanting to, you know, take that first move to launch their product. John McPhee, who is one of my writing professors at Princeton, wrote this beautiful piece, draft number 4, on simply getting past writer's block in a very step-by-step way. And Ira Glass, this is a 1-minute video, again, on creativity and the idea of trying, just getting there. You will improve. It's going to be ugly at first, but you need to get started. Which leads me to 3 core circles of competencies that entrepreneurs need. These are all practically based. One kind of core of this is the technology. This might be the data science, the data analytics, the front-end web development, the back-end web development. Business. There's kind of a fine line here, digital marketing, some of it's in the analytics camp, some of it's in the business side. The leadership skills to succeed beyond the odds, to hire and fire. In design, so much, this is not only design in which color should I choose, which is extremely important on the web, but design in the sense of user experience design. Knowing your customer, knowing how a customer, a potential customer, will interact with your product or interact with your idea, and then delighting them and also causing them to share the great news and share the great product and actually use it. So these Venn diagrams all intersect, but you can basically frame whatever kind of venture in learning into one of these 3. So here are 5 tracks to start learning to code for free. And there's many more out here. I'm doing it in numerical form, so I figured I'd focus on a few. And again, you know, much of this talk is about coding, about web development. That's not the only technical skill out there, and that's not the only skill out there that's important for startups. But it's a great example to use because of what the web's been built on. So Code Academy is kind of stylized games to play. So CSS, which is about kind of the adjectives of the web, the design component, is cross-country skiing or something like that to get the C's and the S's lined up in your mind. Dash was built by General Assembly. Not biased, but it's a beautiful way to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and in a project-based manner, where everything you do has a specific end game, and it even allows you to launch a blog that you've designed yourself within the Dash site and share it publicly. Coder Dojo is a community it's volunteer-based, and it's about, for younger kids, helping them get started coding. So that might be something that you can look at the resources online, but then maybe give back to your community later. Rails Girls, it's not just for girls. They organize days worldwide to basically show how easy it is to build your first website and put it up on the web or build an app. And they take complete beginners, and within 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, depends on the city, we'll have them coding. They have a lot of resources online, so you can do this yourself at home. And finally, Khan Academy. This is a quite famous resource, and it's not just for coding, but the idea is free education for all, and get motivated and start learning the language of the web. If you wanted to go further, and there is kind of, they're in between all the free resources, there's subscription services, there's online courses. These are all immersive in-person programs. So General Assembly, of course, is one of them. The flagship web development immersive course is 12 weeks, and it's in 14 campuses worldwide now. In the past few years, a number of different ones have spawned, from Flatiron to Dev Bootcamp to App Academy to Full Stack Academy, which kind of rocked the news channels by deciding to focus on JavaScript instead of Ruby on Rails as the main language. And since then, others have followed. So again, similarly, there's other full-time immersive boot camps for becoming a data scientist, for becoming a growth hacker, for mobile apps. And we at General Assembly have seen people from all walks of life come through these programs, and it's quite interesting, I guess, in comparison to classes in college, where my peers were literally my peers, the same age, similar amounts of intern, volunteer work experience. At these types of things, there's people coming into programs who are 40 years old and have worked in finance for 12 years, or started a shipping company when they were 20, and now they're going into a new venture. So again, to all of you, one kind of takeaway, even if you don't yourself go do this, is to really use your community and learn from peers. If you're curious about startups and products and what's out there, I highly recommend getting on Product Hunt and starting to browse around. It's pretty addictive. Basically, people can submit products or products that they like, love, and comment on them. And you can see by checking out, how many kill the business card apps there are to kind of validate how much interest there is in a particular problem and solution, and hear from the developers and designers how they're approaching solving the different issues or adding features. And again, with most everything in the startup world, it's very much about community and discussion, and even competitors will help each other out and comment. And here's a very long list of a few things that I think everyone should try. I'll share the slides afterwards, but that link will take you to 300 free apps and resources on the web that kind of cover the gamut from business to technology to marketing to design on starting your startup. And again, to wrap back around, why is practical education, why is it relevant today, and why is it relevant to you? What does it give you? Well, it's efficient. Probably will save you money if you can fix something in HTML or CSS or JavaScript yourself without paying someone else to do it. It's creative. You're learning a new way to think, or multiple new ways to think and approach a problem. It's power. Marissa Mayer, when her first day at Yahoo, she set up her computer to access the Yahoo code base and for her programming environment. Not sure how much she used it, but it certainly impressed everyone enough that that was one of the things the author of her biography kept referring back to. One kind of other example, for the General Assembly WDI graduates in Hong Kong, they were going into a 12-week full-time course starting without much programming experience, and the end goal and end outcome was for them to be able to enter the workforce as junior developers. That was it, junior web developers. In their final presentations, they'd all been each working on a project for probably the last 4 weeks of the program. And we had a panel of judges who are CTOs and founders and also VC investors in Hong Kong. All of the panel of judges attacked and questioned the graduates as if they were founders and product managers, not just web developers. They were asking about the design. They were asking about how they were going to monetize this. They were asking about the business model and strategy, not just the code behind it. And so learning the technical skills is absolutely kind of essential, whichever way you go about it, and it gives you the power to get started and start making. So thank you.
Kalina, thank you very much. We can probably take one question if anyone wants to ask anything. Yep. Let me see. Let me just take your mic and see where the other mic is.
Alish Smalov, ADA University. My question is, according to your own experience, which is better, entrepreneur knowing coding or having someone know coding well?
I would say it depends. I think it's always better to know some coding than to not. Are you going to, after 2 weeks of trying it out online, be able to build your own product, be your own software engineer, and take it to, 500,000 users per day? Probably not. You're probably going to have to hire someone. But the idea here is to equip yourself to the best of your abilities and being value-driven about it so that you can make those decisions. It's kind of a knowledge is power thing, and it's fun.
Okay. It's very relevant to talk about education because we have the rector of the university sitting with us in the room today. Okay, Kalina, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your talk. Can I have a hand for Kalina, please? Thank you.